Yo, what's good? It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. The Detroit Pistons lose to the Dallas Mavericks. I want to dive into that in this video. If you enjoy it, smash the like button for me. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. This game was a really interesting game to watch because it looked like potentially a mirror of what this team could look like in the next 3 to 5 years. And I say that because when you look at the 1-2 punch between Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, you see two almost unstoppable offensive forces. Even if you slow them down initially, they get themselves going and then they just get rolling. And they create so many problems for defenses with their ability to attack the rim off the dribble, shoot from the outside with range, get into the mid range, pick and roll. There's just almost no way that they can't hurt you. Kyrie was amazing in transition, passing the ball out ahead. He really gets their transition game going, hitting guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, getting them easy looks at the basket. They just really have one of those offensive gears that few teams are able to get to outside of other contenders. But what was interesting about this game was several things. Um, Let me just start off by saying Kade Cunningham came to play. He came to play. You could tell one of those matchups that he wanted to uh, stake his claim on. He wanted to uh, make sure that he was seen and known. Like, yo, I know I've been compared to this guy a lot, and that's for good reason because I can do a lot of the same things. I can get to the rim. I can hit threes off the move, off the dribble. I can get into the pick and roll, get into my mid range. I've got the full bag, and I think he showed that for the most part. But what he didn't show was the ability to control the game with that ability to score at that high of a level. Uh, when you look at the scoring output, when they scored, how they scored between Luka and Cade Cunningham, it was just uh, light years apart. Um, but something that I was a little bit concerned with was the moment Assar Thompson came off the court, the moment he left, this team's defense seemed to just fall off a cliff. Their ability to generate turnovers, get out into transition, their ability to get the offensive glass, um, and to have any hopes of containing Luka was just right out the window. And Assar did a magnificent job containing Luka early on. If you watch this game, Assar Thompson is one of the best defenders in the NBA right now, hands down. He's a NBA All Defensive Team candidate. If he had been starting the whole season doing this, he would be All Defensive. He's having that Chet Holmgren like impact. Uh, I always forget the brother's name in Herb Jones in New Orleans. He's got that ability where you can just stick him on a guy and say we're not going to double, and we're going to be fine with whatever they can get off over Assar with his size, his length, his athleticism, his agility, quickness, his tenaciousness. Um, it's just something that bothers any offensive player because you don't necessarily have a distinct advantage over him. You're not going to have a size advantage. You're not going to have a quickness advantage. You're not going to have a strength advantage, which is incredibly rare for a rookie, even though he's a 21-year-old rookie. All right. But all that's to say is the moment Assar left, the defense fell off a cliff and Dallas was off to the races. Something else that I was a little bit concerned with was, and this is a larger conversation that we need to have, and I'm going to take a moment to have the beginnings of this conversation. Jaylen Duren, his lackluster defense, his uh, lack of a desire to be locked in and focused in on the defensive end of the court is something that is concerning. It is becoming so glaringly apparent that he is becoming disinterested with playing defense. It is literally not only beginning to hamper this team, but it's beginning to set this team back in terms of its long-term trajectory. The fact that he comes out of the game after getting into foul trouble, and then James Wiseman comes in, puts up 17 and 12, has a block, and just looks completely different on the court. His energy on both ends of the court was infectious. It was impactful. It gave Detroit a semblance of hope. His positionality around the rim was able to deter scoring at the rim almost altogether. I think there's a big difference when you see size at the rim, how players even think about attacking it. There's times where guys will see James Wiseman and they won't attack within 5 feet of the rim. They'll just attack, get into the paint, and then they'll kick it out. Or they're going to shoot a mid-range shot. And that plays into your perimeter defensive hands. That allows guys to get more aggressive on the perimeter, to take more chances, gamble. It allows them to get into passing lanes, to get out into transition. It allows them to challenge three-point shots, knowing that they've got a big underneath. Now, Lord, I think we all wish that James Wiseman had Jaylen Duren's feel for the game and his hands, an ability to just grab rebounds the way Duren does. However, I think he's getting better. And the more playing time he gets, the better and better he's looking in terms of being a consistent product. I would not be shocked if we're not looking at a 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan, Daniel Gafford, who absolutely destroyed the Pistons, especially when Duren was out there. When Duren was out there, Gafford was not worried about him at all. He understood that Duren had no interest in defense, was not going to try to block his shot, and just seems altogether out of it right now. I don't know if it's the whole sophomore slump. I don't know if he's just fatigued like Jaden Ivy is, and Assar Thompson. There's just a heavy fatigue on this team. But it's to say that Jaylen Duren has to figure out who he's going to be in this league, and that has to be figured out early. Guys really don't change after those initial couple of seasons. If you are a defensive-minded player early on, you generally tend to stay a defensive-minded player. If you're a player who focuses on offense, focuses on shooting, is doing the little things, right? It pretty much sets the foundation of who you're going to continue to be. You can add wrinkles to your game, you can add layers to it, but you don't become something different. And if Jaylen Duren is not going to become a defensive-minded anchor, center, it really shifts this team's outlook because it forces them to become more of a Isaiah Stewart dependent team, and it's going to force them to keep him in their starting lineup. I think that most of us believe that Big Stu is better used as a backup center. But the problem is, if Duren's not going to defend the rim, you really don't have anybody defending the rim. Assar Thompson does get his fair share of blocks, but he's more so like the chase down, off ball blocker. He's not somebody who can stand in front of the rim and cause you problems. Isaiah Stewart, ironically, does a solid job of that. He's got a 7'5" wingspan, really good timing, knows how to get into verticality, and has that big burly chest to really absorb contact when guys are going at him. And he tends to just deflect guys away from the rim. They try to go up and draw contact, and they bounce right off of his chest and shoulders. And the referees give him the benefit of the doubt. And that is a significant advantage defensively, which is, I think, is another reason why we keep him in that starting lineup. But if this team is going to take a step forward, it's going to start with Jaylen Duren. It's going to start with Monty Williams deciding what the culture and the identity of this team is going to be. And I think that that's something that we are still waiting for. It's something that when you watch a team like the Orlando Magic, who are in year, 3 of their rebuild, and they're the number 4 seed in the East, right? We would like to believe that as Detroit Pistons organization, we are right behind them. But you're not. You're probably 2 to 3 years away from where they are because they've had that identity for the past 2 years. They've been a defensive-minded team that is committed on that end since Jamal Mosley got there. And I think that this was something of the case why I would have said keep Dwayne Casey there, because you know that he knows how to develop a team culture, identity. He had the chemistry with Jaden Ivy, Jaylen Duren. They played well under him. They gave great defensive effort. And I think with more talent, I think we would have seen a lot of the progress that we were wanting. But they hit the reset button, can't change the past. Monty Williams is here. Monty, this team needs an identity. They need a culture of what they're going to be about that you're able to say, no matter what, we're going to see this product. I think we see a little bit of the hustle with guys like Amude, Ivy. We're still waiting to see it consistently from Cade. and really haven't seen much of it out of Duren. His lack of energy at the beginning of the game, you saw it when he gets that rebound with just one hand, carries it loosely. What's his name? Derrick Jones Jr. Comes and swipes the ball away. Uh, Duren is crying about it like it was a foul. You see the replay; it really wasn't a foul. It was just a lazy rebound and a lack of attentiveness. And we've been seeing that more and more from Duren in the last third of this season. But all in all, they got the Charlotte Hornets tomorrow. Um, I still want to see consistency from this team. Who are they going to be? Look, the offense is going to get there. Ivy is going to figure it out. He's going to get his legs back. You know, even if he doesn't finish the season well, he's going to go into next year. He's going to refine his game. He's going to look better and better. And I'm going to be honest with you, he has. His mid-range was mid-ranging. There was a couple of moves that he did attacking that left wing, and then he did a little, step back to, 16 to 18 footer, nothing but net. And I said, ooh, okay. Starting to show that mid-range. Starting to show that you can't just run him off the three-point line and then meet him at the rim anymore. I still haven't seen the floater as much. I want to see the floater a little bit more, but I love seeing Ivy in the mid-range to get himself going when his three-point buckets aren't dropping. Assar Thompson, I think we all heard the news that he's set and ready to go for tomorrow. I guess it was just like a little illness. He was under the weather, which is a relief because he essentially is their perimeter defense. Outside of him, they don't have somebody who can contain on the perimeter. As much effort that Ivy and Cade might give, it's just not them. Marcus Sasser, I love his effort as well. Simone Fontecchio, he had a great game. And at this point, and I'm going to be 100% with y'all, Monty Williams, he doesn't need to play anybody outside of the top 8. I don't want to see Fournier. I don't want to see Flynn. Really don't want to see Mude unless somebody's hurt or in foul trouble. I don't want to see anyone but the top 8. And that's the starting 5 of Cade, Ivy, Assar, Stu, Duren, and then I want to see Wiseman, Fontecchio, and Sasser. That's it. The rest of the season, play your 8. And if you need to go down to 7, go to 7. Because Fournier isn't giving you anything. He's not giving you the veteran leadership. He's not giving you any physicality. He's not helping to imprint that focus. He's not keeping this team's offense moving. He's turned into a bit of a black hole. He's kind of self-interested because I get it. He's potentially going to be an unrestricted free agent. He hasn't played for 2 years in New York, but he's not selling me that he's an NBA player anymore. He just doesn't show it. And as a veteran, that's really disappointing because at least Alec Burks showed you that he's still a contributor, which is why the Knicks traded for him. Evan Fournier couldn't even crack the lineup in blowouts. Just Tom Thibodeau just refused to play him, and I'm beginning to understand why. And so for the rest of the season, I just want to see the top 8. Even when Grimes gets back, be like, Grimes, look, chill, you're on the contract for next year. If you want to get a couple minutes, but it's not going to take away from Sasser and Fontecchio. But with that, it's your man 100 grand, Ross with The Rock Never Stops. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button for me, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. And I'm out, y'all. Peace.